Time to look at another game from the prolific Mr. Chip software, this time programmed by Tony Kelly. It's called Rollaround, so let's check it out. So as always, let's take a look at the front cover of the game, and not much to say about it really. It is quite literally a load of balls. Shiny silver balls, all sparkling with electricity, and there's some kind of like red neon ladders in the background as well. And it says roll around in a roll aroundy sort of text, and the spine does the same. And on the back some screenshots, and it's an isometric looking game. Not too much can be made out from the screenshots, but it looks like it might be something like Marble Madness, which would fit in with the title of the game. And it says there, collect the crosses while avoiding the aliens and keep your balance without going over the edge or falling down any of the nasty holes before your time limit runs out to reach the bonus and complete the level. That's quite extensive instructions for a back cover, and it's got some of the features as well. And as it says at the bottom there, as I mentioned earlier, it's programmed by Mr. Chip software. Here we have the instructions crammed onto one side of the inlay. So you've got the gameplay, which was already described on the back cover. A bit more about some of the obstacles and squares that you'll come across during the game. A little bit about aliens, which can come in a variety of guises. And the loading instructions and the controls. And that's about it. Inside, pretty much nothing. So here we have the title screen. Very colourful it is too, with lots of text all over it. As you can see, it says Roll Around by T. Kelly and copyright Mr. Chip software. Bit of instructional stuff at the bottom here, telling you what effect various things have on the grid that you roll around, and there's also a kind of a title screen graphic there as well. And a very annoying tune in the background. So let's get the game started. Just to repeat, you can see that if you land on one of those tiles, it turns that into that, and if you land on one of those, it turns that into that. That will become more clear when we get the game started, which we'll do. So the idea of the game is to collect a certain number of crosses on a certain number of coloured tiles. You can move from screen to screen. You can see it's an isometric perspective, which does make it rather tricky because you need to push the diagonals on the joystick. Not actually true, you can push up and down to move you backwards and forwards, and left and right to move you left and right, but it makes more sense to actually tilt the joystick 45 degrees and then point into the corners. Fire button also allows you to jump, as you can see, so it's pretty easy this first level. You can see in the top left corner the number of white crosses is going down. I've just got to collect 6 more. There's just this one alien to dodge. And when you collect the required number of crosses on a level, you complete the level and you go to this bonus round where you press fire to stop the thing on the right block that you want to select. There's a bonus life in the middle. There's 10,000 points there. There's 1,000 points there. No, sorry, 100. There's 1,000 somewhere, and the rest of them are nothing. And I got nothing. So the second level starts, and slightly less dangerous than the first, in that you start in the middle of this cross, and it gets a little bit more complicated. You can see at the top of the screen now you've got to collect 9 white, 10 red, 10 pink, 10 green, 97 blue and no yellow. So let's have a wander around. And you can see there's some blue ones to collect here, and there's also that H in the middle of the screen. So what I'm going to do, because I've played this before, is collect those 2 first of all. If I hit this H, that'll turn all the holes into tiles and all the tiles into holes, like that, which leaves me stranded in the middle, but a quick jump across there will allow me to get that cross, and another one there will let me get that one, and then I go to this one in the corner, and that turns them all into crosses, and you collect all the crosses, making sure not to throw yourself off the edge of the platform. Best to take it relatively slowly, although there is a time limit on each level. And here's where the key thing comes in. I'm just going to demonstrate what happens if you do this wrong. In fact, you collect all these first and then collect this one in the corner. That turns all the unoccupied tiles back into holes, and you're left stranded in the middle of nowhere and no way to escape. So I'll just jump off there and start that screen again. That was just a quick demonstration of how not to do that level, or this screen I should say. It's just part of a bigger level. So the idea once again is you collect all these things. And while I'm doing that, let's have a quick talk about the graphics. They're pretty basic. It's pretty nicely done isometric. Oh no! Idiots. As I was saying, as I do this again, it's pretty nicely done isometric style, but there's really no point to it being isometric other than it makes it really annoying to control and move around. It would be just the same game if it was done two-dimensional, but it would be less frustrating. And it is a very frustrating game, as you will see when we come to the second part of this level. So what you're supposed to do on this is something like that, which then leaves all those ones still as X's to be collected. And away you go onto another screen. Now the other screen where you need to do stuff on here, I'm actually going to go this way. Is this one, and as you can see this looks quite challenging. You've got to collect all the crosses on these tiles when you hit this one at the top to turn them all into crosses. The problem is if you try and hop across onto either these two, you're going to hit these two aliens. So the way you have to do it is to stand at one end, jump your way across and then jump away like that, but try not to, you've got to do it quickly, try not to kill yourself. So you can see it's pretty difficult. There we go. That then reveals the crosses, and it's just a case of collecting them all now, which again is going to be quite tricky because you've got these baddies on these two rows of crosses. But the pink ones and the white ones and the blue ones are relatively easy, so let's do those first. Going off the screen and coming back on ensures that any that you've already collected you don't have to collect again. So let's just do this again. Get the blue ones. That just leaves the green and the red. It's going quite well actually. I'll probably cock this up in a second. Let's go off the screen again just to reset that. So I've just got the 7 reds still to get. I knew that was going to happen. But I have managed to do it, so there you go, that's the second level completed. Only the second time I've done that, by the way. Same thing again. Nothing again. Obviously if you get the 10,000 suddenly you rocket up the score table. So this is the third level. I've only had one go of this so far, and you've got to collect 99 greens, 5 white, 5 red, 5 purple, and nothing of each of the others. So when you go on this screen you can see there's a screen full of pinks there, but when you collect the little thing in the middle you can only collect 5 of them, otherwise you fail the level for collecting too many. So that was the 5 white. That's the 5 pink. That's the 5 green. Oh, I've got to collect all the green. I'll be back there in a minute then. Okay, so that's the 5 red. So I've just got to get the other 94 off that green level now, which on the face of it doesn't seem too difficult, except for the fact you've got this thing coming around at you all the time. Quite challenging. Actually not as challenging as the level before though, I think. As long as you're quick about it, it shouldn't be too difficult. Nearly there. Probably not going to make it. I've got myself an extra life. Oh, for a second there at least. Getting closer. I don't know why I'm doing that because I've got no lives left now anyway. Oh, oh, this is just ridiculous. Oh, oh, I'm dead. And that's pretty much it, game over. I'm not going to play through it again because it is quite frustrating. It's not a bad game. Graphics and sound wise it's pretty basic, but it's quite a nice puzzle game. Certainly very challenging and also quite frustrating with the control mechanism, but not a bad game all in all, and probably definitely worth $1.99. Not much more to say about it really. It's colourful, it's isometric. As isometric games go, it's not too bad. Oh, I've accidentally started the game again, but I'm not going to play through again. That pretty much sums it up. Let's move on to the next review.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
2, 1, 0.